Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Monday to you. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Since it's Monday, we always try to take a quick look here at the weekly, kind of see what the big picture looks like so we can kind of help get perspective on what happened last week, what could happen this week, and effectively look at some back-end data here as well with high block capital. So if you are new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor, love to teach people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. And obviously you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is the website. Link down below, and we can effectively work together and just have an awesome time. So again, check that out in your own time. What we're going to look at here, first of all, is on the weekly. Quick, first and foremost, of course, is our MACD divergence. So this does tell us that we are losing momentum and that we could see a shift in bearish divergence, okay? So that does imply that further downside could occur, and we just want to be mindful of that, okay? So we could very well still see that 28,000 range be attempted. If we take a look here at the RSI, kind of standard stuff, still mostly on the bullish side of things. Above 50, below 70. Money flow index is coming down. That does tell us that further downside is potential. And we also got stochastics kind of telling us we've lost that momentum. We could see another shift to the downside. So it does feel a little bit more likely than the price will come down first before it goes up. Okay, so just be mindful of that. We also can see here on the moving averages that we are getting closer to the 20-day simple moving average, which is averaging itself out here at about 28,500. Okay, so again, once again, nice little support there at about 28.5. In my personal opinion, I think that should provide to be a good support if the price comes down that low. We've come close, I think 28.9, 28.6, somewhere in that range already. So it wouldn't be surprising if we kind of average ourselves out there. All right, so again, that's what the weekly looks like. Let's jump on over to high block capital and take a look here at the daily. We can see some liquidation levels are about the same. In other words, we got 28,500 as the most common place in which the stop losses are accrued. And what I mean by that is, if you look at liquidations, what it does, it takes a look at closed positions. Okay, and these are positions either filled or unfilled. All right, so keep in mind a lot of closed positions at 28,500, implying that we have some stop losses there at that location. And then of course, same thing here as well, about 29.9 or 30,000. So shorts are leveraged about 30,000, longs are leveraged about 28.5. Okay, that's kind of the range that we're in right now. Whales are super active, of course. As the price continues to go lower, we see more activity from them. We can see slightly more slightly more shorts being successful, longs being liquidated. We can see as well that a lot of longs are closing their position here today, likely because we saw that little wick down this morning. I'll talk to you about that here in a moment. But the bottom line here is that we are seemingly a little bit more short bias than long bias, at least over the last 3 trading days. Okay, so again, overall, that's the consensus here for now. Let's take a quick look here at open interest and kind of see what's going on here. So open interest in the last 12 hours, we can see the most amount of open interest at 29,400. Okay, so that puts us right in a position where the price action could continue a little bit lower because we got that resistance there at 29.4. But again, unfortunately, some late longs at 29,400 this morning. We take a look here at the shorts. They're right there at 29,450. So 29,450 is effectively where the shorts are at. So again, shorts are more successful now at this point than the longs. Once again, we're still a little early. It's only 29.3 at this point, 29.2, upper 29.2 range. So in all reality, it's not dire straits, but this is not a great start to the day. We can see this gravestone doji candle forming here. Again, the day is still early, but if we continue to maintain at that level, further downside would make sense. So let's talk about potential for downside, all right? So let's take a look here. We can see that we are now, once again, last few days, still under 50 on the RSI. So we're more so bearish than bullish at this point. We can see money flow index is increasing, but it's not a lot. Okay, so we got more money coming in the market. Well, that's good. It's not quite enough to be able to maintain this price point just yet. Okay? Same thing with MACD. We're starting to lose that momentum. Potential shift in momentum in the near future, but we're still a ways away from that. It doesn't matter too much at this point. The key takeaway here is that we're now under the 50-day SMA, and if you recall seeing my video on Friday, you'll know that I talked about that being an important point to be able to hold and maintain above the weekend, and unfortunately we didn't do that. Keep in mind, volume is very low on weekends, so not super relevant unless we see a surge of volume here today. That could be a potential problem. So again, we're kind of on the wrong side of the tracks here on most time frames here, at least the weekly and the daily. So take a look at the 4 hour. Let's see what's going on here. Keep in mind, again, sideways action, weekend content here. Not a heck of a lot happened this weekend. We did have a candle wick all the way down to 28.9, then it just returned fire for 29.5. So again, we're kind of stuck in this range between 28,900 as a close approximate to the lower point, and then a higher range is 29,500. Okay, so again, Keep in mind this Fibonacci level at 29.6 is a pretty strong resistance area there. All right, and then we take a look here at the moving averages and or just see stochastic RSI. It's all coming down right now. Okay, so it makes sense that the price wants to continue lower at this level based on the fact that we're seeing this on multiple time frames. Okay, again, we're seeing this kind of shift in momentum, if you will, because we haven't been able to maintain a very high price point. So even though, yes, we are technically making slightly higher lows, it still doesn't matter too much in the big picture. Okay, so I would wait for a definitive direction from Bitcoin because at this point, it's not necessarily the best trading conditions. And again, to my community members, I'm just waiting for Bitcoin to kind of pull its head out of its ass. That's kind of what I mentioned in our Discord this morning. Because as soon as it does, then we can have a definitive direction. But in truth, it could literally go either way right now. I do feel like we're more inclined to see a little bit more downside first before we see the next leg up. But again, it could very well break to the upside. It just wouldn't make as much sense for a breakout than we would see a breakdown. Again, just based on everything we've seen here so far. But 4-hour time frame, mostly telling us that we're kind of range bound and that the price action is kind of stuck in this middle range. In other words, we take a look at the RSI. We tested 50 on the RSI for quite some time last week, broke above. Now we're testing it as a support. So really not a situation in which we're like, oh my gosh, there's a definitive direction going to be taken in one way or the other because of this. Okay, so please note that is the case. Just note the longer we stay range bound here, the more likely we are to break out, and in turn we could see that soon. Take a look at Bollinger Band. We could see some price action soon because again, anytime you see the price contract into like a smaller area, then you can obviously anticipate some kind of breakout in either direction. Last time we broke down, obviously, but are we going to break down again or are we going to break up? It's truly hard to say, but I'm leaning a little bit more towards a breakdown than a breakout. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the hourly and wrap it up here. So when we take a look here at the hourly, we can see the Ichimoku cloud kind of giving us some false positives here. Not the best indicator with range-bound activity. Please keep that in mind. We can look at TD sequential. Also, really anticipate the same thing. There's not a lot of consistency here in either direction. While we're 2 hours down, are we going to keep going for another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours? It's hard to say. Truth be told here, the hourly is not giving us a very firm indication of what's going on because we don't have enough data in the last 48 hours to justify that. In other words, this range-bound activity doesn't tell us too much here. We really just need to see a larger liquidity swing before we get any type of confirmation. Okay, so again, a breakout or above, a break down below 29,000 or a break above 29.5 would basically give us that definitive direction. Now, we could see some false positives. That happens. We want to be cautious not to jump right in because of it. Try not to buy the breakout. But again, anticipating the breakout right now is difficult too. So again, I know it's not really what you're looking for, but there's not a ton of definitive information here telling us it's going to go in either direction. The macro is leaning a little bit more towards the downside though. So if that's going to be your guide, I would say that might be a little bit more likely or probable for a downside than upside at this point. Once again, different stories. Different strokes, different folks, right? It just depends on what you're looking for. But I think the best thing to do right now is to be patient and just to recognize that there's plenty of money to be made in due time. Okay? Try not to get too over anxious and over trade. I'm going to start having a little bit more activity here soon with our signals, of course, with some alts. I'm going to start picking up some good altcoin signals here soon. But for the most part, between now and then, try to remain patient. I can tell you that there's nothing wrong with waiting on the sidelines for a good opportunity. Okay? We're just looking for that perfect spot. And again, there's no perfect spot, honestly. It would just, we want to look for an ideal entry, and we don't really have anything like that just yet. I hope this was helpful for you. If so, comment below. Like, subscribe, follow the whole 9 yards. Again, help us grow our Twitter, of course. And obviously, it's Monday, right? So enjoy your day regardless. Hopefully, we'll see you on the flip side one way or the other. And have a good rest of your day. Thanks again to all my community members for the wonderful positive feedback I received over the weekend too. Thank you so much. It's great to hear from you. And obviously, I'm happy to be part of your life as well. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.